What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another NFL video with your boy. Drop a like down below, comment anything in the comment section, and enter your name into the $50 giveaway that I do every single week on this channel. In this video, we are here to break down this Thursday showdown, and boy, is it nice. Okay, we have been absolutely dominating showdowns this season. I'm really waiting for one of these to be one of those top spots. I honestly thought last week's I honestly think last week's could have been if they would have utilized Swift all game like they did on that last final drive, but whatever, that's last week. This week I feel amazing about this. So, first and foremost, how I tell y'all every single time, man, the most important thing is to look at the game and make a decision how you expect the game to go. Do you think it's going to be Carolina big time? Do you think it's going to be Houston winning? I, Look, there are people out there who are going to build lineups as if Houston wins this game because that's a GPP strategy to go. In the Millie Maker, there's like somebody's going to win $1 million tonight on the Showdown. I'm sure there's going to be people who enter that who have like a Houston lineup as if Houston wins. That's not something I'm going to be doing in cash games because Carolina's looked amazing. But yeah, game script is a big deal. Game script in general is a big deal in DFS in general. If you can get those value plays that are in spots where they're going to be behind, having to air it out a ton and a lot of garbage time points, a lot of these guys can get you fucking 5, 10 points in just one drive while they're trying to catch up at the end of the game when defense really isn't caring because they're blowing them out. So yeah. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get it, man. Last night was a great night for me. Last night we smashed MLB. Well, not smashed, but we cashed in MLB, and I swept my parlay. Greenlightbets.com. For MLB, we have a package over there. We swept our parlay last night, 4-game parlay. So that was amazing. I profited over 1,200 last night on that parlay. And then we have NFL bets. I'll probably have some prop bets that I'll send out to people today. So we have a couple packages. We have an NFL package and an MLB package at Greenlight Bets. If you're in a state that can bet on games, check it out, whatever. Or greenlightdfs.com and just play DFS. Let's get it. So I'm not going to keep up too much of your time, y'all. All right, plain and simple. I had the live show last night. I don't know how many of you guys joined me with that, but pretty much I talked about Christian McCaffrey being my lock. Okay, the reason for this is because gets so much usage in this offense regardless of game script. If Carolina gets up big, it's going to be 20 carries to Christian McCaffrey and probably multiple touchdowns. If they're up big, then McCaffrey's probably a reason why. Well, yeah, there's like a 99% chance that if Carolina's up big, Christian McCaffrey had something to do with it, and now he's going to run the clock down as well. If they fall behind, McCaffrey's the most targeted player on this team. So I love Christian McCaffrey. I think you just plug him in and you make it work. I haven't struggled too much here because there is fantastic value seeing that Houston's dealing with injuries. Houston's got some cheap options. And with that being said, there's a guy on this Houston squad that played 90% of offensive snaps last week. Now Danny Amendola is out. Okay? So Miller, Conley, Akins even as a receiver for Houston, as a tight end receiver, obviously. Philip Lindsay you could go with, but we'll talk about more people in a second. But Chris Conley. All right, Conley is in a fantastic spot here. I love Conley at 1,600. You guys know me. I like to put a value play in the showdown when I talk showdown. Conley's a fantastic option because, look, the game script that I'm predicting, and like I said, it's all about predicting that game script. And if you're going to max enter, it's all about, and this is exactly what the Sharks do, they will pretty much play for any scenario that these games go. You know what I mean? So they'll max out their lineups, basing it entirely off of any type of situation that could possibly happen. So they touch all bases. In my opinion, I don't love that. I don't love Sharks just solely on the fact that, look, like, it's not much strategy involved when you're just optimizing 150 lineups with, like, certain rules instead of actually building one and trying to take it down with one. That's more exciting to me and that's more fun to me. That takes more skill in my opinion, but whatever, to each his own. But Conley is 1,600 in a game where Houston should be getting dominated. Okay, they should be behind a lot. They're at home in Houston, so My take on this is yes, I expect Carolina to get up, but I also expect this quarterback for Houston to keep it serviceable. He's not a guy who's got a ton of tape to watch and really learn on this guy. He hasn't been in the NFL much. Like he's not a guy like much about, but he should be serviceable here. I think he'll be fine, and especially with that price of him as well. I love him. But Conley's 1,600 in a game script where they should be throwing a lot to catch up, a lot of garbage time stuff, and he played 90% of offensive snaps last week. Now you take Amendola out, this dude's going to play 95 plus offensive snaps, or around 90 to 95, same as he did last time. So I love him. For GPP, I feel like a lot of people might possibly fade Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks has been highly targeted, one of the most targeted receivers in the entire league this year. And in this type of game script, he should get a lot of work here. The only reason I haven't had a ton of Brandon Cooks in my lineups is just because, honestly, I love Robbie Anderson's price. Robbie Anderson is 7-8. Let's look at that again. 7-8. Okay? Now, obviously, with the game script being how it is, I think Robbie Anderson's a part of also why this team gets up here. Robbie Anderson is a fantastic receiver. He's very, very solid. He gets solid targets in the pass game. He's only 7-8. That is the reason I haven't had a ton of DJ Moore or Brandon Cooks or none of that, because I'm able to get a receiver like Robbie Anderson at 7-8. That has been my thing, and this is a guy that I really have a gut call on tonight. Really like Robbie Anderson a lot. Obviously, if you want to play it the other way and you want to take Robbie Anderson out and go like Brandon Cooks, then you're going to have to go another cheap punt and make it work that way. If you want to fade Davis Mills, that's cool. I'll have a lot of Davis Mills, honestly, because that price tag for a quarterback in a try to keep up game like that at 8-4, Davis Mills is fantastic. I'll have a lot of him. Because he's in a situation where he's going to have to throw a ton and he's only 8-4. Most of the time, you're not going to get a quarterback in a showdown game that's 8-4. All right, so I'm going to be taking advantage of that. I had people mention in the live show yesterday, and a lot of people asked me about the Panthers' defense. I made it known in the live show, look, I completely understand that logic, okay? I understand the Panthers' defense play. I get it. They're priced a little bit high. Number one. Number two, I don't expect Houston to get absolutely just held in check and Carolina just rack up defensive points. Because a lot of my builds, I am getting a lot of this Houston squad. And with that being said, it doesn't correlate great to get a lot, because a lot of the value on this slate is on that Houston side, and it doesn't correlate great when you grab that Houston value and then you're running it back with Carolina defense. You know what I mean? So that's just personally, I like to look at how my build is going and if it correlates properly. That's another big deal and a big thing you got to look into. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you correlate properly. With showdowns, I normally do a 4-2 stack. Sometimes I'll do 3-3s to be different. If I do a 3-3 stack, I'm trying to get lower owned, because a lot of times 4-2 is the way to go when it comes to showdowns, and a lot of times the number one guy ends up having a 4-2, whether it's 4 Carolina to Houston or 4 Houston to Carolina, it doesn't matter. I prefer 4-2 over any other type builds, but 3-3 will be fine. And so that's the core, y'all. Christian McCaffrey is my captain, and I'm going to work everything else out, plain and simple, because McCaffrey's got the most upside on this entire slate, and he could go crazy. So, and then Conley at 1-6 playing 90% of offensive snaps. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Robbie Anderson at 7-8 is too cheap in my opinion as well. So, love both quarterbacks as well. I love this game in general, man. Everything that I've been able to do here has been beautiful. One player that I'm not having a lot of that other people might is DJ Moore. I'm not having a lot of DJ Moore at 10-6. That price is a little criminal in my opinion. Yeah, it's a little crazy. Who else? Philip Lindsay and David Johnson. So if I had to choose one, I would lean David Johnson because he's 400 less and gets more targets in the red zone, stuff like that. So I would prefer David Johnson here over Lindsay, but it's very close. The only reason I'm citing David Johnson is 5'4", and he gets more work in the offense. And then, I mean, yeah, you can go kickers. You can go that route. Akins is a decent option. Maybe punt a cheap, like Brown, Akins, punt a cheap tight end might be a decent option as well. I don't think you might have to. Roberts, I really like him as value as well. Miller, really like him as value as well. So, yeah, Houston value, and just prepare to get that million. Plain and simple. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Greenlightdfs.com to join the squad. Remember, you get this showdown included. If you go grab the weekly package at greenlightdfs.com right now for NFL Week 3, you will get the showdowns. You will get college football. You'll get Sunday Main, all that good stuff, all the way through Monday Showdown. All right? Thank you guys for joining me. Peace.